Well, good morning everybody. How are we today? Saturday morning for everybody. Paul in Sydney, g'day. How you doing? Andy Stubbs, Robert Mack, good to have you along. And the other 10 people that have joined in already. Always love to have you on. And don't forget, we have our Discord channel, the link's down below if you would like to jump on and have a chat with us. The more people that jump on and want to say something, the less I have to talk. So that's a sort of better think about that one. If you go on and talk, I don't have to. Angry Buddha, g'day, how you doing? Well, here we are on a Saturday morning. What do we got going on today? I haven't got, Oggy hasn't got here yet. The house building is still progressing along nicely. I don't think we should be sort of having a picture of, what's that, 10 o'clock? The picture didn't change, didn't it? No, well, let's go and change let's go and refresh it. Go to a picture and then go to slideshow again. There we go, nice beach scene, how's that? Been reworking all my images on my desktop, so there we go. Got my good trusty coffee. So how is everybody today? Enjoying your prison sentence in wherever you're living? Joe Elliott, good morning. I'm still waking up myself, of course. Got my trusty, a bit of a plug there for the old cafe at 7-Eleven. They always make good 30 baht coffee. Can't really go wrong with that. And it's 12°C in Melbourne, almost unbearable temperatures. Yeah, when it goes to single digits, that's it. It's just too cold for human beings. Yes, Paul, I have been doing what I can. Basically, it's most of what it is a bit of walking and stop eating all the junk food. I don't know if you realise the fact that a lot of people, when it comes to gamers or people who spend a lot of time on the computer, you spend a lot of time in a chair, and although your mind's extremely active and burning lots of calories, the rest of the body sort of atrophies. You've got to get out and walk. Of course, what I'll do is I'm going to do a couple of videos next week, just giving you a bit of a snapshot of the area and wandering around the place to give you an idea of the lifestyle here. Out, basically 12 kilometres further west of the city. We've done a few videos in the past, giving you a snapshot of the what they call suburban lifestyle, which is what you'd probably, if you were moving to Bangkok or the Bangkok province, and you were, considering the whole commute to work thing. G'day, Mr. Oggy. Yeah, atrophy, you think you dated her. What are you doing there? Come on, get on the bloody stream here. Now I've completely lost my track. Yeah, so if you're going to be living in Bangkok, working in Bangkok, then you're going to either thinking of taking a condo, or something fairly close to the centre of the city because of the horrendous traffic there. But a lot of Thais tend to commute. They do the hour commute. So what would be considered to be an hour drive morning and night in their traffic zone, that sort of determines the suburban area. But what we're finding now is the next zone out, or the next ring out, which will, if I use an example of Hornsby, see when most people in Sydney would have lived in places like Hornsby, Bankstown, I can't remember all the sort of southern districts. That was the commute area. But just before I was leaving, for the last maybe 10 years, we started to see a big growth factor in places like Galston and Castle Hill. They were starting to develop out, and they were like the land prices were really starting to escalate quite a lot. What we've got here in this particular area of the province, this is I've done the map before. I can bring the map up again. But let's go in there and we'll show some photos shortly. Unfortunately, there's no way I can really do a zonal view. Yeah, that's where we are. There's a little pin there. So yeah, if we take so what, the Siam station, there we go. That's not it. Which one's Siam? There it is. So if we go measure distance from here, out to where we are now, this is put them on time, Sai Song, Sai Sam, Sai Si, Sai Ha, and there's a few other ones. I think they go up to Sai 11, I think it is. But yeah, so we're just right out here to here. It gives us 20, as the crow flies, 26 kilometres is where we live out here, from what you would call the central business district of Bangkok, which is about where I lived, retrospectively in Sydney, I would expect. Let's do an equivalent. Okay, let's do another Google Maps. Let's go Sydney. And how about I type Sydney? SYD. How you doing, Oggy?
Doing okay. How about yourself?
We're getting there. So if I take the CBD of Sydney, let's just drop it in. I think probably the best way there. GPO Sydney. So measure distance from there to where we lived up in here, which was out right up here. Here, 24.8 kilometres. So I'm effectively from the CBD almost identical, distance from where I was when I was living in Sydney. Although I didn't work in the CBD, I worked in Rhodes, so it was a bit closer. Rhodes is over here, so it was a bit closer. But that's the typical sort of thing we find now in the comparisons. So lifestyle is a bit different, the living style. There was some, this was our surround.
I just drove that distance just to go to the store today.
Did you? G'day, Sean. How you doing?
And go to the Costco. Yeah, I'm doing all right.
So there's my old house in Sydney or Australia. Looks like they've rendered the downstairs and painted it all white, which is interesting. Yeah, so that's the lifestyle we have there. And if we go here, I drop in a pin. It's about all I can do here because we don't have any sort of, yeah. So this is the lifestyle equivalent. Let's go up here a little bit more greener up here. I was saying in the last video that there's one thing I really enjoy is the greenery. So there's our estate there. Rice fields to the north, I think to the south of us. So, yellow tree dick plantations. There's a little primary school up in here as well. So it's a bit of a contrast from lifestyle from one place to another, but this is where we are. Of course, what we'll be finding here in the next 10 to 15 years, this area here will really start to develop out because more and more Thai people want to work in the city.
You don't look that far out from Bangkok Mall.
Bangkok? No, we're not really when you start to think about it. Yeah, so if we do another distance, we do a distance from here, measure distance to the Mall Bangkok, which is here, 12 kilometres. So it's like. But of course, if we were going to go to a mall, the mall we would go to now would be, if we were looking at street shopping, like one of the things that she used to like, or still does like, okay, she used to like, clear. So we would have, this was where we used to go here, measure distance from here. This was where our old house, I'm going to update my map. So that was Yes, that was Big C. It was 2.6 kilometres away as the crow flies. That's where we used to go to do our main, our normal sort of weekly shopping. Now we'll be going clear measurement. So we'll be going from here, measured distance to this one here. So a little bit further. But the beautiful thing is, going out down here and across that way, there's virtually no, well, there is a bit of traffic, but not like it was going down to the mall. Seriously. The Pekasem Road from this one's, that's Sai C there, from here down to there, it's just a gridlock all the way.
I couldn't believe the traffic.
No, it's,
Took a half hour to get from my sister-in-law's place to that mall.
yeah, but yeah, so, but yeah, they do this Big C here does what they call the on-street shopping, like we would, like the other one would do. Of course, this is done at daytime. There's an open air market here, or roofed market. It goes all the way down, and from about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, this street on this side here is just wall to wall. We will I'll get a video done of this shortly. There's another sort of an enclosed market area in here, and then of course you get right down to the car park at Omnoi there. Omyai, I'm not Omnoi. Yeah, so you get some little tent stalls here. That's like the permanent fixtures, but it just basically goes from up here all the way down to the end of those markets there. It's just another, what they call street market every day. There's also there's a fresh food market as well, which I'll do a video as now I'm settling in. There's a fresh food market that runs daily. Am I in the right? Where is it? Yeah, okay, so I'm on the wrong side of the road, aren't I? Yeah, so it's hard to tell there, so I'm on the wrong side of the road. Oh yeah, that's it. Doesn't look anything like that these days. When was that photo taken? December 2020. It always looks more open than that. Maybe they've done some renovations, but there's a big market area in here now. I don't know why it's not showing that. It just seems like a brick wall. It's all been opened up now. And then the brick walls come down. That's why it's a big, yeah. That's very interesting. That photo is just old. Yeah, but it looks like they've taken all that brick wall down. It's a big open air market there now, so we can actually do another video there. But it's all fresh food. As for us, our marketplace is up here, so we come out on the street, and there's if I look at there, yeah, I think here it is. Yeah, so we do the U-turn there, come back in here. Oh, that's right. That's my local K-Bank ATM. And just a bit further in here, we've got Tesco Lotus Express. And this is like, this is where we've got to go to now on for our, like our afternoon Thai food, street food sort of stuff. It's all located in here. There's another little 7-Eleven there. And then just a little bit further up here, you actually go through this little driveway here, and there's a big, what they call roofed closed air market, which is all fresh produce, and the place stinks like durian at the moment, really. Ugh. So does the house doesn't so much, but 4 days ago, Mother bought some durian. Oh, seriously, it smelled like somebody killed a rat in here. But anyway, no, I don't like durian. What are you doing, Oggy? What are you? What are you up to?
I just woke up. I didn't get any sleep last night. So.
Didn't get any sleep. Anyway, there's a.
Got off work today and went to sleep for a few hours. So now I'm up and harvesting fat or fiber, what do you call it? Otherwise, not doing much.
Fair enough.
I'm going to run to Bullhead City, just outside of Vegas tomorrow. To go pick up a door for my house.
How far away is that?
5 hours.
5 hours drive? Seriously? So no gaming for you tomorrow, is that right?
Saves me $300 on the cost of the door by driving to Bullhead City versus having it shipped.
A door? What sort of door is it? Gold plated?
No, well, it's a $200 door. If I order it online, it costs me $500 to get it. If I drive to Bullhead where they have it in stock, it costs me $200.
Oh, okay.
So it's just that's a financial.
Must be a pretty extravagant looking door.
No, it's just a simple insulated aluminum door for a travel trailer. It's like 2 feet wide and 6 feet tall.
Oh, okay. So it's a special thing that only fits into your trailer homes, yeah.
Yep.
Personally, I'd go and buy a plank of wood and make my own for $200. But anyway.
Well, it's not the door itself that's the main thing. It is the frame and everything that's included with it, along with the latching mechanisms and all that.
Fair enough. Okay. And Mr. Mitch has joined us. G'day, Mr. Mitch. Warren Thurrott. G'day, how you doing? I like places that are green. It's mostly burnt brown all the time in Southern California. Really. Don't worry, like
Phoenix, Arizona, it's the same thing.
yeah, look, so we had sort of similar situation. If I don't go here, let's go back out the road here. Talk about burnt brown. This is how close we were to what they call the bush. Go down there a little bit further. That's it. This is Galston Gorge, and that's it. That's actually looking quite green. But yeah, most of it, it's yeah. But yeah, that's what I was used to. Bush setting, heavy vehicles. You can't drive down those semis with all those hairpin bends. But yeah, but such is life.
You want to see brown? Google my place.
Google your place.
Junction, Arizona. It's we're definite desert here. Not a saguaro cactus.
Well, up to that, you send me a link here on Discord so I can open up on Google Maps and we'll explore it. But yeah, so what's been happening this week? There's a bit of drilling going on downstairs. I'll get to that in a minute. But look, last week in photos, of course, we did a video, just more of the building stuff. Are we getting that coming through? Well, I'm not actually giving you my sound, am I? Actually, no, that's all right. I don't have to worry about the sound. We're not actually streaming anything from the TV. But yeah, So photos. What have we got? The front yard. I do like that. That's your drinking T-shirt, by the way. In dog beers, I've only had one. Yes, and we're now looking at what it's going to cost to put the glass separators into the bathrooms. It's not our bathroom, but it's a similar shape and size. Yeah, I was asked. Of course, I asked you last week for photos. Yeah, I got a lot of response from people about sending me high resolution photos. I had to go searching for myself. Yeah, well, I got none. I would have liked to have this one here done as one of those.
I thought you wanted people to take them. We're in Australia to actually take stuff.
Well, I just wanted higher resolution, but I would have liked this one, but I couldn't find this particular shot, in what they call Ultra HD or anything that a high resolution that I could have worked with. But that's a nice picture of Sydney. I would have liked that one. But yeah, Looks like this dining table we bought from out the back is going to be staying in the lounge room now. She wants to eat there. There we go. Texas chicken for dinner. She likes taking pictures of the food. Yeah, durian. Frangipani. She wants. She's bought 2 frangipanis, by the way. Yes, this is the work we're doing in the kitchen. You saw we've got some little videos. We'll do that little video. You know, putting these pylons in. These things are about 2.5 meters long. This is the dropping the supports down for the extension. This is them dropping them in. This is how long they are. It'll be fun drilling that.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting. Them pounding them down by people standing on them.
We'll get to that shortly. There we go. So they're dropping them in. That's how long they are. Next one. Come on. Really? Come on. Yeah, putting the second one in. So they make the hole wide and they put 2 of these supports. This is like the centre support, and then of course it's just filled with concrete. Stops any subsidence and things like that in these.
Those look like they're almost 4 meters long.
Well, that's I would have said 2.5 meters, maybe closer to 3 meters.
I guess they might be short people.
Well, they are Thai. Come on.
Is that like just mud down there, or did they dig a hole?
They dug a hole. They dug a hole, and that's probably still. It's got water in it and everything else. You know, and it's not a perfect hole, but you know that's the way it goes. And this is them sort of hammering them in. I always think this is comical. Yeah, there's another one going in. I think they're out of order. Yeah, so they drop these big poles in, and then they backfill it with concrete. So, you know, it's just a complete support retainer, you know, for the rest of the structure. The structure doesn't subside. But as I said, these houses, this is the supports that they put underneath the whole slab. So it's very done. So basically, when the house subsides, the kitchen extension will subside at the same rate because it's fixed into the same substrate, if you know what I mean. And it's all clay. So and again, as the clay contracts, as the water goes out of the ground, because you know, as everything else, we've got rice fields at the moment, so our ground will probably stay clay based for many years until they start building up around the area and that land gets sold. But that's 20-30 years from now. So I always think it's funny. There's another one there. Dropping them in. If she'd done all these in landscape, I would have used it in a video, but she, like ties in there and ties and phones, trying to get her to do landscape videos, it's just not in there. Just not in their thinking process. Robert Groves, good morning, how you doing?
Mayor Groves is here? Alright.
Yeah, I thought they were going to
get started.
Yeah. So Warren, I thought they were going to use a machine pile driver. Oh no, Thai power. It's all Thai power these days.
Around here we would call that manual labor.
Manual labour. Yeah, you gotta love clay sub base. So all the people watching the stream are getting the exclusive how to build a kitchen extension. A lot of grunting and groaning going along there.
I could hear that.
Oh, by the way, the price of this extension is 160,000 baht. So I'll tell you now, 160,000 baht is what we're spending on this whole construction. Giving you an idea. So what's that? You know, was it $8,000 Australian? I don't know. Clear that. Clear. Australian dollar back up again. Oh, and converter. Oh, 6,500 baht. $6,500 Australian to do this whole kitchen thing, which is not too bad. Definitely couldn't get it done in Australia for $6,500. What happens if there are not enough people to jump on the timber? Yeah, it's just such fun to watch.
Well, you know, I'm a big fan of work. I could watch it all day long.
Yeah, I think we all could, yeah. Looks like the Three Stooges movie. Well, Five Stooges, Six Stooges. And they are Thai people, they're small, you know, so numbers make up for the quantity. So again, we're looking for what we're going to put on the floor of this kitchen, you know, what's the style of tile we'll be using. I don't know why she's looking at those. They'd be used for walls, not for floor. Yeah, we bought the windows that'll go in there. This is sort of thing, but we're not using that one. I think this is a style with windows, because
nice little slider.
yeah, well, what we got is the fact that we've got a back fence. You know, as you saw in the video, there's a back fence, so you can't have full picture windows because all you'll see is 2/3 of the back fence. And again, for the side, right, all you got is a neighbour's house. So really, these are just windows for additional ventilation. Yeah, those ones are plastic. I didn't like them. That was lunch. I think you saw lunch, the video lunch window with at the hardware store. That seems to be our life now, is spending freaking, you know, probably 3 or 4 days a week, you know, just browsing through hardware stores. That's our life. Because you can't go anywhere.
A life of a homeowner.
Well, the problem is you can't go anywhere. You can't go anywhere, right? We were at the mall last week, and all the restaurants, all the eateries are closed. So the mall is absolutely bare. There's nobody in the malls because they're all shut. Well, they're not all shut. The malls are open, but you know, Thais eat at the malls, right? So they can't eat. They can't come and shop and eat. So guess what? They don't shop. It's a bizarre situation. You're only going to the shops for the bare necessities now. You know, and again, it was like an Australian shopping mall, you know. Australian malls are very, very sparse with people as well because they've got no money either. They call you can jump on it too, yeah. Yeah, so this is obviously, you know, like they put the pole lines in. This is obviously the vertical supports that get laid in there. And I still love this use of bamboo everywhere you go. You know, like everything's bamboo. You know, you've seen the bamboo ladders that they use to climb up on poles and things. Anyway, this was constructing. I know. So a couple of people said that they don't like the entertainment unit, but Chanya's the designer. I'm not getting involved.
It doesn't matter what they like. It matters what Chanya likes.
Yeah, there you go. So that's a bit of a shot across there. And yeah, so we'll get to the TV in a minute. There's a 70-inch TV going in to this particular wall unit. Well, when we finish the live stream today, I'll have to see what Chanya wants to do, but I said we'll go and buy it today. Well, I'll show you the unit we're buying. But yeah, so that's all. That's where it sits in the wall. Well, you know, it's got little lighting at the back. I think it needs something at the top here as well, at the top of these pillars. But she's happy with it. It's sort of, you know, when you start to look at the matching thing, this is the lounge room entertainment area. I don't have a problem. Of course, this stuff here in the corner here, that'll all get redone as well. That's just temporary, those little set of drawers, just to keep a little temple thing. But that little area will become like the little, what they call entry temple motif. If you know Thai houses and Thai Buddhist houses, there's always the temple effigies, you know, in your entry. You know, that's the entryway. You know, it's just a very Thai thing. So that'll be a nice little wall. You know, I have a little sort of floor wall unit combination, and we'll get more of that photos. We'll show you the photos shortly. Another sort of couple more shots of the shots that she took. What we got there? Yeah, so this is the sort of thing she wants for the temple. We haven't bought it yet, but that's what she wants there. I think that one's too high, but again, we'll just have to see how we go. I'd go for something without that little hood ornament. But yeah, he's got to love Thai engineering, right? When they put the concrete downstairs, right, filling in the concrete, they actually covered the drain pipe that comes from the air conditioner got buried in the concrete. I had to get out. We had 11 o'clock or 12 o'clock 2 nights ago. I had to get out there with a fucking penknife and cut the pipe loose. It started because the water, just the evaporated water, just it backfilled. More shots of the encasing pillars. This is chandeliers. We'll get to talk about the chandelier in a minute, okay? I have my opinion about the chandelier, okay? Jeremy, g'day, how you doing? Please elaborate on your cable TV selection and internet speed. Okay, let's put that up as a little, you know, what if shortly. I'll just mark that one, or maybe Sir Oggy can remember it. But yeah, chandeliers. We'll get the. Jeremy's asking about TV selection and internet speed, so we'll talk about that shortly. Yeah, so we're looking at some TVs. You know, like this one here. This is the Samsung. It's a 75-inch, but the pixels on it were actually fairly large pixels. It's what not what I would have called, you know, for the distance that we're going to be away from the TV. You had to really go for what they call the minute pixel. What they call I don't know. There's a special name for it.
Nanopixel.
Nanopixel, yeah. To get the clarity. So they're 4K. This one was 31,000 baht. It was an option, but I didn't like that one. The one this is the one we'll be buying today. It's 35,000 baht. The sound, we'll probably put a sound bar in at some stage, but when you start to think about the size of the room and how much echo a sound bar and the bass speaker will actually create, I think that from what we can determine from the sound that they produced inside the shop there, I think it's going to be quite enough volume already without a sound bar. But yeah, 35,000 baht. This has a little sort of magic, you know, like it's got the remote. It's actually voice controlled. Oh my god, seriously. But yeah, it's got the ultra fine sort of pixels. So the clarity comes through pretty good. Exactly how it's going to look on sort of standard free-to-air TV, which is generally only 720p. You know, I just don't think she's going to realise. She's so used to seeing all the displays, and they're displaying in 4K. So, and of course now they're starting to display 8K. I'm starting to wonder, well, you know, really, how's a 70? You know, this one is 70-inch, it's not 75-inch. But how's it going to look with the 720p recording? And again, if she wants to watch my videos, I'm going to start uploading 4K as well. How many people here in the channel are watching YouTube in 4K? I really don't get those numbers on the analytics, so I don't know who's watching in 4K. I can't imagine very many people sitting in front of the TV, but I get a lot of. We do have a percentage of people watching, on what they call non-regular devices. There is a sort of an idea we get. I think about 5 to 7% of our audience is watching on what they call these desktop boxes and smart TVs. How big is the room, Warren? Where's the TV going? Okay, so let me just quickly bring up the house plan again. It's under pictures. Give me that's the downstairs. Actually, well, before I do that, I think I've got to open a new tab first, don't I? Oh, really? No, I don't want cancel. I don't want that one. That's PSD. I want the JPEG. Where's the JPEG? There it is. Okay, so that's the downstairs. So the length is 8.5 meters from one side to the other. It's 3.5 meters wide. So hopefully that answers your question there, Rob. Jeremy, I'm watching on 4K on my Alienware curved computer screen. I've only got 1080p. I didn't go to 4K when I got my curved screen, but at this sort of distance, 1080p works fine for my bad eyes anyway. So we'll go out and buy that today. Is curved better? Well, it's one of those sort of things. I think it's a talking piece these days. Rob, what do you think? I know Rob's got a curved screen in his TV room, and I think yours is 65 inches in it, Rob, or is it yours 70 inch? But they've only got 2 people watching. I think there's a certain location in the room that leverages a curved screen viewing for the peripheral when you're watching the centre. And of course, I'm only sort of what's that? Arm's distance away from my curved screen when I'm watching movies and TV shows. It's just the right angle, the right peripheral for that size, and there's a certain level of immersion. Again, when I'm gaming, there's a certain level of immersion, but don't forget I've got 2 more screens on the side here, and when I get my new desk, there'll be another screen over here, so it'll actually be 4 computer screens. I'm not going to go for the 6 like they did in what was that John Travolta movie? Was it Swordfish? I'm not going for the 6 screens. Okay, I'm only
Awesome.
well, I'm only going to have 4 screens, but yeah, it's what you do, Yes, that's the TV we'll be buying. Yeah. Roger Ritchie.
Swordfish. I got a guppy.
You got a guppy, yeah. Excellent.
I prefer the setup in Grandma's Boy.
Whose?
It's a comedy movie, Grandma's Boy.
Okay, I'm not familiar with that one.
I don't remember his setup. What was it like?
Oh, he's got like he's back in like a reclined dentist chair or whatever, with all the screens hanging from the ceiling, and it's got all kinds of techno music blasting. It's pretty fun.
Warren found a thing that looks like a scorpion that's similar to that. It's awesome.
Oh yeah. Well, we've talked about it last time.
It's over $1,000.
Oh yeah, God, it's the price of a 300cc motorcycle. It was 156,000, I think it was 156,000 baht, and the Yamaha X-Max, which we want to buy, is 172,000. I'd rather spend 172,000 on an X-Max than 150,000 on a Scorpion looking, Anyway, I'm not going to go there.
But you could do a VR riding the motorcycle, see, and you'd never have to leave your house.
Yeah. Now, Warren Theoret, he says he's on a 5K iMac. Okay. The LG CX OLED set is quite nice. My favourite thing I bought during COVID quarantine. Yeah, like OLED is still what I would consider expensive. I know it gets a richer black colour,
And
but
60 centimeters would be really small.
okay, 65 inch. Yes, the Roberts is 65 inch. We have no problems at all. Seems good from all angles. Yeah, I think that people sort of put too much credence into it. And me, I don't even watch TV, so like as I said in the video, so I'm going to be spending 35,000 baht on a TV, which I'll never watch. That's the part that hurts. At least I like to get some sort of value out of anything I buy. That's just something I'm buying for her. Stop buying dresses. There you go. You can look at all the dresses on your 72-inch, 70-inch screen. Happy wife, happy life. Yes, I keep telling myself that. Yeah. These, I'm not quite sure what she's looking at here. These are sort of cupboard doors and stuff like that. Front fascias. And of course, this is for the kitchen build. She wants to get some. Well, we're not going to put marble in. There'll be a tiled surface. This is sort of stuff, like this white grey tiled surface is what she'll put in for the kitchen top. Yeah, this was the earlier model. This of the same LG. That was the previous model. There's a couple of thousand baht less expensive. And again, it's this is what they talk about. That pixel. That's the ultra high 4K IPS pixel. Thank you. 4K IPS pixels, so it really clears up the screen. Where were we? We were there. Do I want to close? Do I want to go there? Don't know what that is. Yeah, so more tiles, more tiles, tiles. Hey, this is okay. So these. Shush, be quiet. So these are these. Okay, it's not coming through on there, but it's probably coming through on the stream now, I'm pretty sure, because I can hear it through my headphones. Yeah, so these are the first two images I got. This one here is the boardwalk from the Opera House. Like I sort of said, I specifically don't want to see the Opera House, right, because it was designed and built by a Dutchman. It's really, although it's an Australian icon, to me it's not an Australian icon, and like, sure, I'm not into the opera, but the actual view of the Sydney harbour there and across the CBD from the boardwalk, actually it's quite a nice picture. So that was the first picture we had done. This is another one. This one here, this one's done from Kirribilli, which is the prime real estate on the competing again. This is prime real estate on the North Shore. Again, it's a nice picturesque view of Sydney Harbour. It's not making the Harbour Bridge, so iconic, but the whole idea of a setting in Sydney, and again, I had to rework these in Photoshop anyway, but they came out quite good. They're on canvas, by the way. They were 1,200 baht each. These two images, which is not too bad. $50 each for those. They're custom made, so they're one of a kind. Well, I suppose if you found these images and reworked the images, you could you could duplicate it. And I'm pretty sure these guys may even put them back in their catalogue. They've got the artwork now. It's not mine, so they may go into their catalogue. Who knows? But we've got three more. Excuse me. We've got three more coming, which images I've done as well. I'll show you those shortly. Yeah. So the first one there was hung last night. So that's where it's going to go against that wall. Yeah, and this one here, of course, I didn't realise because of the lighting and everything else. A little bit out of thing, but that's in the bedroom. Yeah. So let's just, don't look at the teddy bear. Like, the teddy bear's her thing, okay? She's supposed to cuddle me. I'm the teddy bear. But that's her teddy. It's all right. She likes her teddy. But yes, that's the bedroom. I don't know what she's looking at here. Ghastly looking thing that is. This is sort of ideas she wants for the kitchen, or ideas she's getting for kitchenette. And of course we've got Miss Universe is on TV at the moment. Yeah, so here's some photos of the work they're doing today. This is the pipe work being laid. So they've got the base concrete down. This is the pipe work that's going to be laid in. to service everything. Now, talking about, right, I want to talk about this whole chandelier thing, right? Seriously, these people, right, and you know, this is where the chandelier is going to go, in this little alcove here, right? So from the top of the thing, where nobody's ever going to go, you'll sort of see that at eye view, or just below, and then of course this is from, this is from the doorway, the sliding. If you put a chandelier, you'll never see a chandelier, and nobody's ever going to see it. I think it's sort of like 25,000 baht is going to get totally wasted, right, on something that's just never going to, like, you're going to have to be here before you see the chandelier. It's going to be a little bit pointless. But again, I don't want to have an argument about it. That's just her, just giving you an idea. Like, this is the thing. I'm really just not into the chandelier idea. But happy wife, happy life. Yeah, so they've taken the supports there. Can you get a print of Bondi Beach? for your room, is that right? A print of Bondi Beach. I don't think we're going to, when you look at the cupboard and the bed, we'll have to look to see if we get a print in there as well, just for the sake of it. But we may look at Bondi Beach. If I can find a high resolution one of Bondi Beach, something I can rework, I might get one done as well. Again, so we're looking at things that could be recognisable by non-Australians. I think when you start to look at Bondi Beach as an iconic Australian view, maybe people just don't know it, do they? If I go to Google, go to search images, Bondi Beach, 4K. When you start to look at Bondi Beach, how, it's really a nothing, it's just a beach. It's, there's really nothing iconic about it, but yeah, I think, topless people at the beach would be useful, but there's nothing there that really becomes iconic. Only people from Australia and New Zealand expats really know Bondi Beach. So now that one there's more. That's Manly Beach. That's more iconic because you've got Sydney in the background. That would make a better print if I could get that one in. But that one's can't see that one in 4K. But anyway, getting back to, got sidetracked again. Rabbit. Okay, so that's where we are today. Chanya napping in the lounge. Well, there should be more. Oh yeah, okay. So it was. I thought I took a couple more. Oh yeah, there we go. Yeah, so again, I'll have a view of the pipework going in there. Yeah, starting to put the wall up. It's using that, what they call air-filled block. What do they call that concrete block, building block? I can't remember. It's just sort of an aerated concrete, so it's strong, light and durable, easy to lay, and it renders very easily, although the render won't go full depth. They'll only render from the fence line up to the roof, but they'll render the whole thing inside as well. So print of Uluru, no, that's honestly so cliche. I couldn't do Uluru. Sorry, that just wouldn't work. No, people don't know Uluru. That's Ezra, if you're for non-Australians here. You had a couple of fluorescent lights in the stairs. Yeah, I think something like some sort of different, lighting, modern style would work better than a chandelier. But again, I don't want to have an argument with her. Anyway, so Jeremy was asking about the internet speed. Okay, what do we got today? Speed test. give you a bit of a snapshot today. We are streaming, so it'll have a little bit of an impact because there's an outbound, but come on, ping it, 4 millisecond, bang, bang, 800, 850. So we're a little bit shy of the expected, which would be sort of 920 would be what you expect for 1 gig down. There's nothing really to complain about. 883. The upload speed's a little bit impacted as well. Maybe that's because of the stream. But we are a little bit further out as well, and we're going through a relay box out in the street. So it's what they call, it's a 1 gig down, 500 meg up. We're getting 883 and 301. They're still quite, they're still going to like, videos upload into, my weekly videos upload to YouTube probably only take about a minute. It takes longer for them to render it than it is to upload it, so it's all good. But yeah, so this is 749.
Your upload's faster than my download.
I'm doing engineering work at home on 110 down and 6 up.
Is that right?
Dude, here I'm doing call center with 250 down and 50 up.
But yeah, so that's we're connecting into the 3BB. I could probably sort of change servers. Let's have a look at AIS and NAC on Pantom. Let's just get a bit of a difference, a different relay point. See if there's a Melbourne tram print. Yeah, I thought about Melbourne trams, but again, I'm a Sydney boy. Yeah, so again, I'm pretty sure they share infrastructure, because when you start to see these, the AIS, they're responding faster than the 3BB, and yet I'm carried on 3BB. So try to work that one out. I don't know how that works. I think it's obviously the ocular responder that they're working with. How that funnels, I really don't know. But yes, the real key is, of course, you go into what's it? What's the out of the 5 of those? What's the most popular? Comcast. Yeah, so getting an idea. Like if you're going to do a speed test, don't do local loop. Have a look at where where your bulk of your video entertainment is being serviced from. That's the 204 milliseconds. But like here's me going across from Thailand into the USA. That's still a fairly decent, easily watch 4K without buffering, 179 megabits per second. And again, this is your upload speed into so this is Thailand to the USA. I'm going to do a comparison. Let's go into just for a shocking change connections, change server. Sydney Telstra. That's probably Telstra is their main one there. Let's compare. That's me going to the US from Thailand. 204 millisecond, and well, how long will it take? So I got a better ping time. And this is what we have to deal with Australia. Like, honestly, we're actually closer to Australia as is the ping time, but the download speed from Australia is slower. I don't know how people in Australia deal
probably because their infrastructure won't handle the higher speeds, right?
That's it. Their infrastructure can't even upload. Absolutely zero upload capability. I don't know. You guys need to do something about it. You're going to get rid of this incumbent freaking Telstra freaking bullshit that you're going to deal with. How does anybody live? Like, that's me, Thailand, trying to access and do stuff directly in Australia. it's woeful. It really is. It's pitiful compared to what Thailand can get to America. But again, such is life. Anyway, so yeah, what's it cost? So 700 baht a month plus GST, which is 7.5% or whatever. It works out 749 baht a month. I've got to pay it every 15th. I think it's actually due today. Is it 15th today? What is it? Yeah, so I think it's 15th of every month I pay. So we're always 3 months in advance with the payments. But yeah, I've got to go and pay that today when I'm out as well. So I could do it online, but I prefer to pay it in person. Your internet speeds are 3 times faster than mine in Alabama. Oh well, I think we've talked to Augie and Sean about this and a few other people. It's because of the fact that each state pretty much has an overruling control element, and they've limited one supplier type mandate across a lot of parts of America.
One supplier per type. So you've got, like in our area, we have DSL from the phone company. Then you've got the cable companies, which cable companies get exclusive contracts in most areas. It depends on the state, because some states will allow multiple carriers in an area. And then you've got the wireless carriers. So you've got typically 3 options in the U.S. You can either go a digital service line, which is on plain old telephone system. You can go cable, which is through the through a coaxial, or you can go wireless.
Yeah, and sort of I've been reading up on what they call Starlink. They've already reached their 500,000 expected subscribers. And I think they're servicing 100,000 out of the half.
Which they aren't even guaranteeing when it's going to be available to people. Like one of our local people was checking on it, and it's like, oh, you pay us $500 and we'll make it available as soon as we can. There's no guarantee.
How about my mobile speed? Do you have a card to run dedicated line into your house to achieve? No. This is fibre into the house, Jeremy. So that's the I think we did the map thing here. So I just pop out of that map. Not easy. I can't easily draw on the map, but yes. Although that's our house, the actual connection is actually here. And it goes into the street, there to here, down the street into our house. So it's about maybe 150 metres of fibre cable direct into the house. Mobile speed, well, my phone only supports 4G, so I don't have a 5G phone, so I don't know what 5G mobile speed's like here. But my 4G, if I turn my Wi-Fi off, is, well, let's not go into it's a typical 4G, I think 40 by 35 or something is usually what I'm seeing there. But again, it's 4G. I think there's a station here. There's a pole up here, and there's a pole over here somewhere. 2 repeater stations for the mobile networks. So we've got fairly good mobile coverages. Disco ball with lasers, what, in the stairwell? Well, they don't actually go well, because at least you'd be able to see the light spinning, wouldn't you? You'd actually see some sort of effect in the stairwell from the lounge room. You wouldn't actually probably see the ball from the lounge room. You'd have to actually go into the hallway to actually see the disco ball. But yeah, you guys, really. So did that answer the other question about that, Jeremy? I'm just trying to scroll back. Cable TV selection. Okay, we're not using cable, but 3BB, BB, they do have what they call a set-top box solution. Now the problem with this is the fact that this box doesn't directly connect into your network. We should stay on the screen. That'd be useful. Let's go back to English so we know what we're talking about. Yeah, so if we look at this one here, what they call the 3B Giga TV, this is a new offering they got. So that's the 1 gig 500 meg. The thing with this is you get the box, which is not showing the bloody box. It's hard to sort of see it there, but then you get this little, what they call Android box that goes with the TV. That to get the best speed, that has to then be connected into with a cable to the router. Now we have the router here in my room because I wanted to directly connect my computers to the router. I wasn't going to rely on Wi-Fi to the router, so the repeater's just behind me on the wall. Oh no, the connection's on the wall, so I get maximum speed with my 5 meter cord. I probably only did the 3 meter cables, but I got 5 meter cables just to make sure that it was all right. And they will all get put into the wall properly. But yeah, which means the fact that if we want to cable that their Giga TV box, we're going to have to drill through the concrete slab or run, a cable. And honestly, for TV, not interested. Absolutely not interested. It's TV. We'll get a smart TV, and if she wants, right, I will, we'll look at some other solution. But as I said, I'm not paying for it. So yeah, so you get this thing that it's the same price, but I just wasn't going to deal with the cable shit. That's all. And it's only HBO. I'm just trying to think. Well, what was their offering? So you basically plugs into premium channels such as HBO, 3BB Asia, Nickelodeon, Cartoon Network, 3BB Sports 1, Edge Sport, equipped with streaming from HBO, Go, Monomax and Oki. I'm not paying for TV. Sorry, if she wants it, she can pay for it, and it comes out of her pocket, not mine. Honestly, not interested. But yeah, so it is available, but zero interest for me. But yeah, so that's what we got. But that's an offering. I will pay for the $700 but as I said, if she wants that, I'm pretty sure the fact that even though we've got the connection here, that set-top box is an additional $700. But I don't know. I don't know how it works. It's some sort of bizarre pricing system, and she'd have to run a separate cable in probably if she wants it to come directly connected. Because that little set-top box, I believe, doesn't support Wi-Fi connection through the house, so it's got to be directly cable connected. I could be wrong. Had a look at it. Anyway, hopefully that answers your question about the. Angry Buddha should have Google Fiber next year. I heard Google Fiber is actually quite good when it gets rolled out, and you're backboning onto the Google's, the Google Cloud Support Network, which is your YouTube download speeds will be incredible. Are we in the new home yet? Oh, Paul, yes, Paul. How you doing? We've just been going through the photo album. We are in the new home. We're building the kitchen. So if you joined a bit earlier, you can scroll back. You'll sort of see what I talked about the home. Yeah, so we are in the home. We are comfortable. Lounge room's almost done. We're just got to wait for the TV to come in. So it's a bit of a shot across the lounge room. We're all quite happily sort of living here now, and doing our nightly run out to the local market for food. Jeremy, the language that Thailand, it's, well, C++ and C# are pretty much old standard. Like a lot of people are now going for the newer languages. Unfortunately, Sasaiko's not here. He's probably better adept at talking about that. But yeah, look, Thais don't do much in programming that way. I really can't tell. I haven't even looked at the code behind the internet services. What they call the services that are provided by the government. But these are languages that are really sort of, depending on who's contracted to the job. I say C#, C++, they're sort of probably old school programming, Python and Ruby. That's more the newer languages. There are some even more newer languages coming out there that are sort of really getting a lot of airplay in the up and coming fields. Whether Thailand's using them or not's another matter. I don't know. So it all comes down to what they're teaching in school. Have we had Bitcoin drop again, have we? When was the last time that was? Can we refresh that? Because it was 56 yesterday. It bounced again. I think we got a bounce, did we?
Yeah, it's not 56 now. I was watching it all day today.
Was it? No, 49.6.
My
Yeah.
remaining hold.
Wow. Yeah, because it went down from 65, and then Tesla announced that they could no longer buy their motorcycle, their vehicles with Bitcoin, and that sent the whole thing into a bit of a spin. And now we're down below 49 again. If it went as low as 35, I'd probably buy it at 35, but for now, I'm not really too concerned about it. I think the best I could give goodwill for freaking Bitcoin at the moment is 35,000. Everything else is speculation and Ponzi scheme. But yeah, that's if you plot a standard sort of what they call a standard graph of an index fund, which is what they call a high growth fund in today's modern society. If you look at that standard curve and plotted that on the standard curve of Bitcoin, that's where I would place my value of Bitcoin as a commodity, outside speculation, and that would probably put the current value of Bitcoin around about 35,000. But hey, that's just me talking about it. I wouldn't buy anything higher than 35. Anyway, enough discussion of Bitcoin. What else we got? So that's the photo album today. What else we got? We're into an hour already. When's a good time to start growing grass in Thailand, or doesn't matter? Well, the weeds have already started growing out. If we go back to that photo there, where was it? Front yard. Where is it? It's, we've already got random grass growing in the front yard already. So I think stuff grows all year round in Thailand because of the weather. Just before wet season, yeah. Unfortunately, wet season officially starts next week. I believe I read that this week. The fact that the official start of a wet season here in Thailand is next week.
I have a theory.
What's that?
The grass seems to grow beautifully out of the sidewalk, and I just get weeds in my yard. So maybe I'll just concrete the yard area.
Well, maybe you can. You can actually get special brick. Because I had these, in Australia. I think if we go back to here, go back to my house in Australia, my old house. Where are we? We're over here. We go to the driveway. So what we used to have here on the nature strip here, we used to park our cars in here before council come and put the tree there. That used to become a little parking, because we had 3 or 4 cars here at one stage. And so you could get these special concrete bricks that had holes in them, right? And you'd lay them down flat. So the grass would grow through it, but you could park your car on it. And it was actually quite tough, if you know what I mean. It was like, it gave, rather than just having a dirt substrate, the grass could still grow, but it actually meant you could park your cars on it, and it didn't.
Well, I'm actually trying to grow some grass out back right now in new areas, and it's been 2 days, and all I've got are weeds sprouting.
Don't try to grow grass in March to May, he says. The programming language really depends on the industry and task. That's exactly right, Dex. Yeah. Wet season started here in Chanya officially today. Yeah, but officially the driest part of Thailand. Yeah, you don't actually get wet season. You get hot or not so hot, and sea breeze not so hot. Yeah. One of the things we're doing here in the yard here is we're going to put these hedging plants against the wall, but unfortunately we can't do that until all the building's done. Next week, so we've got the kitchen going through. This kitchen should be finished in 4 to 5 days, just in time for the carport to go on. And I can't wait for the carport, because me going for my morning coffee every morning, I got to deal with the hot seat of the motorcycle. Oh my God, that stuff burns your ass. It really does. Can't wait for the carport to go on. But yes, that'll start. I think that officially starts on the 26th or 25th or something like that. What have we got? So 10 days from now. 10 days from now. I don't want that. I want, what is it? What is the day? It's the 15th, yes. I think they start on the 23rd or the 24th. They'll be here to start the work on the carport, and they should have just finished out here on the kitchen. So that's what we're looking forward to next. But yeah, okay. So what's going on? And what's okay? If you pave your yard here in Los Angeles, and they charge you tax for the square footage taken away from allowing the sparse rain from getting into the water table. Really? God, what is the world coming to? Anyway, I thought we might have a look at some news articles. What's going on in Thailand? NNT, National News Broad. I've heard some but I don't want to actually talk about it. Yes, I've told Gordon, yes, speculation. There's a few loose articles running around the Twitterverse. Twitterverse is, if you saw it on Twitter, then, come on, it must be true. There's a few random articles about the monarch here having caught COVID. He's been sort of admitted to hospital. I have seen zero information regarding that on the mainstream media, and that is a sort of thing that would not be hushed up. So I think it's a lot of speculation. Maybe he's got a head cold. I didn't want to alarm anybody, but well, sort of, that was supposedly, it's been 24 hours since that news broke on Twitterverse, but it's been broadcast by nobodies in the field of journalism. So I think it's a bit of a storm in a teacup. Somebody's trying to sort of upset the monarchists around the place and try to create some sort of new headline, but it's just not catching on. I don't see it anywhere in any of the major rags. As I said, Bangkok Post would be on top of that in no time whatsoever. Latest news, 11 o'clock, Penguin Social, brothers linking budget kill, 17 deaths, nothing. Okay, 4 o'clock this morning, H.M. Kingston birthday, an article from the King, right? He sends birthday letter to somebody, I don't know who that is. He's mentioned the King's, the Cambodian King, there you go. So nothing here on Bangkok Post. I mean, you pretty much see it here on Bangkok Post first. If it was a real article, I think it's a bit of a storm in a teacup. So we won't discuss it. But I said, I do keep my ear to the ground on a lot of things. And again, if I go to my Twitter, TWITTE Twitter home, and go to my list. Where's my list? Around Thailand. And this is the latest. Richard Barrow, Singapore, Beijing. We got some more pretty girls. Night Risk Group. What's my stream going to be I'm going to have to do this more often. There we go. Some more pretty girls on the Night Risk Group. There you go. You need to be plugged into my Twitter list. Come on. Patio. Yeah, there you are. Lovely Pam, ready to talk to you on the internet. You can't really go and see them. English announcements. Governor urges cooperation. This is, if it was a real news, it would be all over it would be really broadcast. You wouldn't keep it. You wouldn't keep it quiet, right? But as I said, there's nothing on a dedicated, bank or Thailand feed. Don't worry. This list is fairly comprehensive of all the sectors of Thailand. If you really want to look at the latest. PM denies the 50 billion baht Thai Airways recap plan. Yeah, so the government doesn't want to refinance Thai Airways. Murder stating, 70 new COVID cases, 3,000 new cases. But that was the thing this week. We had a big spike in the COVID cases this week because they've got COVID in the prison system. And it's been kept quiet. So rather than having the gradual caseload, checking process, the prison system has finally come clean, and they've said they've got an estimated 2,000 inmates. So basically, you got a 2,000 peak in two or 3 days ago on the COVID cases, which sent everybody into a Twitter storm. But outside that, it was gradual increase. And of course, you got the conditions in the prison system is woeful. Trying to keep, those squalid conditions. This again hits back at what we've all been sort of saying here. The trumped up nature of this COVID bullshit, right? If it was as virulent and as dangerous as what they try to extol in the mainstream media, you would think that closed quarter, 50 person per cell type living conditions in the overcrowded prison system would have many, many deaths. But you're not seeing it. And out of those squalid conditions, you've got 2,000 inmates, not like 2,000 in one day, but that's just, a typical flu virus running through the bloody prison system. That's what you've got. And of course, these guys here probably have better immune systems because of their living conditions. One of the things about a medical sort of journal I read a few years ago said people who sleep with people, right, male and female, transgender, whatever, if you have a sleeping partner, I'm talking, humpity bumpy sleeping, I'm just talking just a sleeping partner, a person who sleeps with a partner every night generally has a better resistance to ailments than somebody who sleeps alone, because your body's naturally always working at combating the viral vectors that can happen by cohabitation. So when you start to think about that and sort of put it down to 50 people sleeping in an overcrowded cell, the same thing would apply. I think they build up a high resistance to all sorts of viral vectors, because that's what the body does. The body is a natural antiviral system if you let it do what it's predominantly designed to do from 2 million years of evolution. Anyway, such is life. Go on. Say your piece.
You got me off on the Twitterverse, so now I'm looking at the Go-Go Bar girls.
You're looking at that. Much more interesting. Oh my God, seriously, we're going to go with... Okay, we're going to get some pretty girls up on screen. So, yeah, don't forget, I got my list there. You just got to go to my page, go to my list. I think they always have prettier girls on this one.
I'm stuck on Pattaya, a Go-Go Bar.
There's pretty Kate there.
Yeah,
Kate, yes. What I should do is I should get you putting this thing. I could put the Discord with you looking at the pictures, right, while I look at the chat screen, so I don't have to do two things at once. Katie, yes. Nice beach scene, that one. What do we got here? I'm losing like what they call squirrel. Oh my God! Nom yai. Do you think they're real or not?
The breasts?
Yeah. Do you think those ones are real? Nah.
Oh, they're made out of something. They're
They're
real.
made. They're made.
I don't think they're virtual.
They got a skin covering. Yes.
Yeah. Are they enhanced?
Enhanced. That's what. Yeah. That's what we're looking for. Yeah. Moddy. Actually, well, those ones actually look real. I think there's a certain shape that you get used to.
When they're fake, it's
Yeah, they're real. They're real. Yeah. Can't tell. Real. Real. Sigh. Anyway, look, I've got to get out. Can we get out of? Yeah, okay, right. Let's close the Twitterverse. Let's go back to news. They always make good thumbnails. Like, seriously, that one, the stream from 2 weeks ago where I left the thumbnail of the picture on the screen for a bit there, and I captured that and put that up, and mate, it got 1,100 views on that one. I should do that more often. And I'll probably have to go and search this one as well tonight. Just go and put the, why not? Anyway, so I hope Phuket still up. Phuket, yeah, I hope Phuket. I think there was something here that Richard Barrow had. Buriram. They're actually passed an ordinance in Buriram today. The fact that you could be sort of fined or jailed up to 2 years for refusing the vaccine. The Buriram province. So basically, it's going to be they'll be mandated.
At-risk people. But it's at-risk people.
No, so Buriram have issued an order requiring everyone in the province to be vaccinated against it or risk being fined. Right? It's everybody. Everybody in Buriram has to be vaccinated. If you refuse it,
in the green box below it says those that are at risk. So who knows which one's right?
Yeah, but this is what the articles I've been seeing. It's all over. Basically, it's all over the place. Again, this could be rescinded 2 days from now. Basically, the main government says, "I'm sorry, that's against our constitutional rights of a human being," or something like that, and then of course it'll be override. But at the moment, that's the current vector that they're talking about here in Buriram. 12th for today, so we had a reduced with more cases, less dead, but what was I trying to look for? I was looking for something here. Phuket officials confirmed today that starting from Sunday, visitors must either be vaccinated or have a COVID-free certificate that is no older than 72 hours. If not, they cannot come, said the Vice Governor. Rapid tests have been abandoned. Only vaccinated or tested arrivals can enter Phuket. So that's where we stand with Phuket. They for some reason, they still seem to think that they're going to open July 1. I really...
Oh, I can go to Phuket next month. I like that.
You like that, do you? Yeah. I find that's a little bit hard to grasp.
I'm fully vaccinated.
Yeah, the vaccine's just not being rolled out. I said they expect to start rolling out walk-in vaccinations June 1, which is 2 weeks away. Well, I would expect to sort of see places being set up and built right now of where you're going to do that. You're not going to get it done at hospitals, right? Because the hospitals are already overcrowded with normal day-to-day business. They can't.
What they did here is they just took over the coliseums and set them up as vaccination stations.
But all the coliseum, all the places that have been that could possibly be set up have been sequestered already for field hospitals. And you don't want to really bring people, to get vaccinated into a field hospital where COVID is rampant. Or, get the idea.
before the temperatures rose above 100 here, they were just it was just drive up. They would just jab you in your car. They had
Yeah.
tents, and you rolled through the tent, and they jabbed you, and off you went.
Well, again, it's all this speculation and everything else. I just see nothing really being prepared anywhere, unless of course it's in the sort of the Thai media news circuit, or some of the blogs and shit that I don't subscribe to. I really just can't see. It's been like we're 15 days away. We're 15 days away from June 1, and really I just see no action. Mind you, then again, as we talk about those street market malls, they pop that up every day and pull it down every night. Maybe Thais are just so adept at pop up things everywhere that they'll just say, "Oh, today we'll do it here." They'll just pop it up there, and there'll be a massive tent, vaccination walk-ins, and then the next day it'll be closed again. Who knows? So it's hard to tell. Well, it's 2 weeks away. As I said before, Health Ministry plans to vaccinate Thais first. This is again, so Thais first, foreigners second, blah 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 blah. Yeah. La di da. News update, important. This is for 30th of May, so this update lists what you can and cannot do in Phuket. Oh yeah, anyway, so it's a bit crazy stuff. Let's do a quick refresh of that page. Anything new? That's for 26 minutes ago. Academics have voiced, have been a bit into the new signature. Okay, nothing much there. Talk about dual masking, really. Moderna vaccine has been approved by the FDA here. Don't know how that's going to improve the vaccination rollout. But 22 national volleyball players infected with COVID-19. Okay, mass testing at prisons as big cluster emerge. That's probably why we've seen a big spike in the numbers. The spike in numbers comes from how many people are tested. You don't test and you don't get no spike in numbers, do you? You probably find half the nation's probably carrying the viral vector, and they're asymptomatic. That's his life. Committee for Empowerment to Disabled. Yeah, okay, nothing there. I'm seeing there's arranged more flights. Yeah. Life is normal here in Thailand, I think. So I think we've got to look at our pictures, we've got to look at that sort of stuff. What else has got going on? If you want to go back to looking at the pretty girls on Twitter, we can do that. Where are we? So, what have I missed? Who have I missed? Love pretty girls, yes. 4887 new cases in Thailand yesterday. 7-day average 2447. Anything worse than being in Thai jails is having COVID in the Thai jails. Yes. Well, having any sort of viral outbreak in the Thai prison system, but I'm pretty sure that they'll survive it. Rick Rogers. In the US, Democrat governor released thousands of criminals to protect them from COVID-19, but crime skyrocketed. Yeah, well, what can they do? They're out of prison. Nobody will employ them. They still have to eat. They were getting three square meals a day in prison. Put them out in the street, and that's it. How do they buy food? Some people just have got no brains. What is it? I'm not promiscuous. I'm not promiscuous. I'm just looking after my health. Okay. Paul Andrews said, do you end up getting to Perth? Was it you were just talking a few months ago back on Warren Street? Okay, so you talk checking the most. Billy, g'day Billy. Yes, we are in the new house now, Billy. We did some photo stuff before. That's what I've been doing in the stream is we take photos pretty much every day. So yes, we've already had a look at the photos from the last 7 days. That's in the first hour of the stream. Of course, the other question now, I'll throw the question out now. Do we really want to move this stream to a different time slot? Now that I have my man cave without the soundproofing walls yet, and I still can't seem to find what I'm looking for here, do we really want to move it to a different time slot? Moving it into a Saturday afternoon, Saturday evening time slot might work for our UK viewers and Australian viewers for a nighttime viewing. Probably get a few more trolls. Or are we happy with this time slot? You know, it's really up to you guys. I do this Saturday morning for you. I don't do it for me. I do it for you guys. So you can chat amongst yourself and sort of a general bulletin board thing, you know, community sort of get together. I do plan to do a sort of, you know, once a month, maybe sort of a special live stream, you know, at midnight to 1 o'clock in the morning, so we can sort of get a different time sector for our, you know, for the people who miss the Saturday morning stuff. Haven't worked that one out yet. I've still got to put some extra lighting in here. Lights are here, but I haven't done it yet. I'm waiting for the desk. Desk has got to come in first. That's number one on my list, but that's probably 2 to 3 weeks away. Yeah, but other than that, we have moved in, Billy. Reality can be overrated. Did you manage to get here without too much drama? Me moving here, I think you're asking me that question of me. Yeah, well, basically the whole moving process was, you know, buying lunch from a few people that's through, you know, that chipped in with vehicles and everything else, and, you know, bought them lunch and they'd be happy. You know, Thais will do a lot of things for food. You know, buy them, you know, take them out to a restaurant for food, and they're very happy to sort of, you know, pitch in and sort of lend a hand. And so, you know, it took like 2 days to get all this shit out of the other house and back to here. And of course, it's still in boxes. That's just life. A Thai government official died after getting the, yeah, but I think I read that one there. It was he had pre-existing conditions of he was overweight and had diabetes. I think that was his pre-existing conditions. He was of ill health, and the COVID was just the icing on the cake. But of course, it'll get listed as a COVID death, not as a pre-existing situation, which is what, you know, again, this whole thing is gets blown out of proportion. Keep them changing. Yeah, keep changing their minds. Tell me about it. It's so hard to keep track. That's why you got to watch the live stream every Saturday morning to see what the latest in this week is. You know, we can all talk about it. Are landlords dropping rents for business? Well, Chanya hasn't run the salon for a month. She still has to pay the 4,500 baht per month rent for the place. But as I said, you know, it's just virtually no point in opening up. Nuk Yung, her friend or girlfriend, I like to say girlfriend, also has her salon here in Yai, and I think it's Om Yai. She has her shop in Om Yai, in the back bits of Om Yai there. She was, you know, she would do it at the same sort of business every day that Chanya would. They've also they have two similar sort of, you know, clientele base. She's been open because her shop's in Nakhon Pathom, so she's allowed to open, and she's allowed to do. But she can't do all services. She can only do walk-in haircuts. She can only have one person in the shop at a time. Haircuts and washing services only. They're not allowed to do colours or styles or anything else like that. Nukyum's been saying she's probably getting one customer a day on average. People just aren't going to get their hair done because there's this mentality, this overwhelming, you know, I can do without a haircut because of the current situation in Bangkok. And again, Sonya's shop being in the Bangkok province, she comes under a bit more restriction as well. So she says there's really no point in opening the shop, so the shop's been closed for a month. And we probably closed for another month. But hey, it's what you got to deal with. This fucking bullshit that we got to deal with. It's annoying, but hopefully once we start seeing vaccines roll out in June, we may sort of see some relaxing of the rules. They're already talking about relaxing the restaurant, eat-in restaurant sort of ruling at the malls. I think they're discussing that today, and they may relax that starting next week. They feel like that they've got a fairly good on top of it situation, provided they, it'll be sort of, one person per table type thing with, temperature checks and all that sort of stuff. The bullshit we had back in May last year. I think I did a video of that. The two of us went to what was it? To eat at Hachiban. I think I did a video of that. I think lockdown day 23 or something there. The temperature checks, walked in there. We actually had to sit at separate tables. We could not sit at the same table. So I sleep with her every night, but I couldn't sleep with her with the same. Get the idea? It's the mentality behind this sort of stuff here. There's just nobody thinking, But again, you got to comply. Fremantle, pullovers and going to curable maintain were wiped out. Moderna vaccine will at this stage only be available in private hospitals. Yes, Robert, I did read that one yesterday. They're talking about it private hospital. Yeah, I'm sort of interested to see how what's going to happen here. We're in a different province now. Chanya will probably want to get the vaccine as soon as possible. But how is that going to work? She's going to get vaccinated, mother's going to get vaccinated, and they're going to say, I'm sorry, but we can't vaccinate you because you're a foreigner living in a Thai household. Where's the obvious brains behind that sort of idea? It should be household by household vaccination, right? You're all living in the same household, so you should all get vaccinated at the same time. That would be the intelligent, obvious, logical thing to do. But as I said, Thailand doesn't run on logic, so we can only sort of we can only speculate what's going to happen there. Billy, do I expect your monthly costs to increase or reduce moving to the? Well, we're paying more for rent, but the monthly costs will probably stabilise and be the same because we're a bit further out. Like the price, in the street we were, it was 30 baht for Emerald Bun. It was 30 baht in our old street. It's now 25 baht in the local thing just up the road. So that's pretty much what you've got as an average saving. That'd be that's a 12.5% saving in cost, or if I did my math right. So yeah, generally food and other expenses will be less. Internet costs and electricity costs will stay the same. Well, I'm paying effectively an extra 12,000 baht per month for the mortgage. But hey, there's nothing to go and spend additional spending on, is there? You can't go out anywhere. We've already been seeing that saving across the board for the last 3 to 4 months anyway. My trips into Bangkok were sort of non-existent. I was doing 2 trips into Bangkok, and each one of those trips, would tend to sort of cost me at least 3 to 4,000 baht for a day out of Bangkok. That's lunches, hanging out, a few drinks, and a bit of entertainment. But that's been wiped off the card, so I'm saving that sort of money. And Chanya's we haven't been to the market, we haven't done a market walkthrough for a bit. We'll have to do one next week. I'm sure she's dying for the market walkthrough. But she's been cooped up not so much cooped up, but she's been in the house watching building. Somebody's always got to be here to make sure that the builders can come in and do all the stuff. So, it all works out fine. Of course, our current costs have been escalated, like I said. 160,000 baht. That's not monthly cost, that's a one-time cost. The carport next week, well, that's already been covered. We've got that money aside, but that'll be 190,000 baht for that project. Like those wall hangings, they're 1,200 baht each for those. They're a little extra costs, but they're one-time costs. They're not monthly expenses. They're one-time cost expenses, and they've already been in budget for. As I said, I had a 500,000 baht budget for the making the house pretty, and pretty much with that plus that, the TV, the wall, I think we'll probably spend 750,000 baht all up is what the whole renovation cost is going to come to, which was still in my original estimate of 1 million baht. Because don't forget, it was 1 million baht I had set aside for the project, expecting to put 500,000 baht down as a down payment on the mortgage. But because we didn't do that, I've already moved for 300,000 baht over before when the house thing went through. I've moved another 400,000 baht, so 750,000 baht we've moved over from Australia. I've still got a cushion of 250,000 baht, which is unforeseen costs. But yeah, everything's still within budget, so I'm quite happy with the way it's all worked out. Yeah, this time but Jeremy, you're in Pathia. What kills America? Or are you in America now? Are you, Jeremy? I don't know. I thought you were Jeremy. My friend Jeremy down in Phuket that runs a laundry. But anyway, everything DC. G'day DC. Everything going good in your home? Yeah, still got to watch. Yeah. That's all you'll get on the latest videos. I said what I'm going to do a couple of videos next week if I get a day that's not quite so hot. If we can get a bit of overcast day, I'm going to get out there and I'll do a bit of a walk around, show you a bit of this and a bit of that. I've got my mate David, Agrammatis David. He's from Germany. I think he's out of quarantine. He's out of quarantine now. He moved into his rental accommodation a couple of days ago. He showed me some photos. That's right. Augie's sent me that link there. That's right. Yeah. He showed me some photos. I don't think he hasn't given me the okay as a private message, but he showed me the photos of his condo, fully furnished, and it looks really quite slick. He just had the true fibre installed in his house yesterday, so he's got similar speeds to me. He's paying a little bit more for it because it's true, but yeah, so he's also comfortably been sort of set up. One of the videos is going to come out next week or the week later will be a bit of a comparing my trusty 4K Sony Handycam or Sony sports camera, which is what I've been recording with for the last 2 years. We're going to set this up in 4K mode, and we're going to do some comparisons with that camera against the Pocket 2, because David's got the Pocket 2, and we're going to do a whole bunch of little exercises. He's going to come out this way, we're going to hang out for the day, do a bunch of we'll probably do some live streaming, but live streaming, I may list it. If you're following me on Facebook, you might be able to join. We won't go public with the live stream. We're just doing it for testing purposes. But we're going to do some live stream tests. That's something I want to do with the Pocket 2, because the Pocket 2 has a little gadget that you can plug into your phone. So I can put the Pocket 2 I can put the Pocket 2 and my phone on this rig here, and then live stream from it. And want to see how that goes, make sure that all works with the audio, and sort of see how the audio sounds, because the Pocket 2 with the Creator Edition has the Wi-Fi labial mic, which is not like my one, which I need to have the receiver here plugged into the camera. You probably can't see that very well. I got the receiver here plugs into the back of the camera here, which means every time I want to go and record, I don't know how many times I've done that, I forget to turn one on, or I think I've turned it on, but it doesn't click across. It doesn't click across. You know, I've talked for 3 minutes on a video on a segment, and there's no audio. I always have to can those clips because there's no audio. But yeah, so I want to compare the Pocket 2 if it actually passed all my quality assurance tests. You know, doing sort of like video shots in 4K, see what they come through, see what the video quality is like. Compare it one for one, doing some inside-outside shots, and we'll probably even we'll make a video of that sort of type process so we can do a real comparative. And if it all works out, probably I think I might be upgrading that phone up to that new camera. 16,000 baht, I think, is the price of the Pocket 2. I do like the size and the compact nature of the Pocket 2. When I saw Tim's version, the only downside with Tim's Pocket 2 was it was the first rendition and they had audio issue problems. But now that the Pocket 2, the Pocket 1 had audio problems because of where the condenser mic faced and everything else, there was always people complaining about the omnidirectional microphone was it picked up every little pin drop of sound, which, you know, and of course it had like my old Handycam, it had what they call a auto leveling feature which you couldn't turn off. So the sound quality of the Pocket 2 was okay if you were one person in a quiet room, it'd sound fine, but as soon as you went out and you got ambient sounds around you, all the audio would level out and just completely screw up. And that was the biggest downfall. But with the Pocket 2, it has a labial mic, which is Bluetooth into it, so it's a dedicated Bluetooth. You can remember to turn it on. It has it's rechargeable. This thing here costs me batteries every 2 to 3 weeks. I got to buy new batteries for that. That's 100 baht at a time, or what it is for the batteries. Or 60, 70, 80 baht or something. Just because they're not rechargeable. I suppose I could get rechargeable AAAs, but I don't think they have the same sort of capacities. But yeah, such is life. Anyway, so what is it for Pfizer vaccine? We have booked our vaccine shots already. At Bangkok Hospital, Petchaburi, costs 3,050 baht for both shots. Yeah, well, they said, I've already got an account, well, not so much an account, but they've got my medical records in at Makashai Song, which is just down the end of the Sai Hai. So if they are offering it, we'll keep a close watch on that. If there is a shot option that we've got at that, and I can go and register for that, or register the family for that, we'll go and do that. I don't mind spending 10,000 baht to have everybody done, or the three of us at least anyway. If you're going to vaccinate somebody, you've got to vaccinate the household. A peace of mind, 10,000 baht, rather than, although they're sort of saying it's all free, really? Pay 10,000 baht, get it done. That'd be me, Chanya and mother, by the way. Get them all done at the same time, so we all have to go through the same headaches. Get my Pfizer shot. Kiwi. No, I got my first Pfizer shot, and the second in 4 days. Then back to Thailand on the 10th in June. So heading back. You'll still have to do the quarantine though. I think currently the standing there is just everybody coming in, no matter whether you're vaccinated or not, supposed to do 14 days. That's what I heard from my mate who's on his way over here. I don't think he's actually plugged into it at the moment, but Psycho, he's doing his final run. He's only 2 to 4 weeks away from heading back himself, but he's been told he has to book in his 14 days quarantine, no matter the fact that he's been vaccinated and all that sort of stuff. I had Pfizer. The gambler in me likes the odds. I don't give a damn. I'm doing it more for the piece of paper. Are there underground illegal businesses in Thailand that will sell the COVID vaccine to anyone willing to pay for a transaction fee? Look, I'm sure they do exist. My recommendation would be, well, if you want to be injected with a saline solution, right, and a fake piece of paper, then use them. I would rather go to a legitimate hospital. But I'm pretty sure there is a black market going on around there, you know, just because of the fact that this is just what happens in Asia. And, you know, as I said, you know, like, it's just like the black market, or I wouldn't call it black market, the grey market lottery system. You know, you got your sanctioned lottery, then you know there's a betting system on that lottery. You know, you just not go into it. You know, I think there's a 2-digit betting system, a 3-digit betting system that they have, which is outside. You know, you buy your ticket. If it doesn't come up on the state numbers, there's a chance that if you went to the right place in the right time, you could have had that in the grey market syndicate as well. You know, but that's the way it goes. Yeah, look, look, considering it's like these vaccines of, you know, what they $10 to $20 US to make, or that's what they call the retail value should be. The problem is the fact that the hospitals are including what they call an insurance against side effects. So that's what you're paying for. You're paying, you know, you're paying 300 baht to 600 baht for the vaccine that you're receiving, and then you're paying 2,500 baht, which is the insurance cost, because the fact that if you take the vaccine at a high private hospital, they are liable for any subsequent medical conditions that may be incurred, and that's part of the deal. And then you got the jab so I can travel when again, I want to get it simply because of the fact that I just like to just have a peace of mind, the fact that, you know, again, I have a certain, you know, moral standing in the community, where I want to be, you know, who knows, you could be a viral vector, but you're asymptomatic, you know, you never know. And I certainly don't want to go and have although I have no symptoms, but as I said, you know, asymptomatic means no symptoms. How do you know you're not carrying the virus? Right, unless of course you have a check. And the point is, if I walked into any place to have the swab check done, right, if it came out positive, the first thing you'd be doing, they'd be carting you away for 2 weeks in one of those field hospitals. No thank you very much. No chance whatsoever. I would just prefer to be asymptomatic and just stay away from people until I get a vaccine. Then I can pretty much just say, well, being vaccinated, my risk of being a viral vector is minimised. So therefore, you know, like, you know, I should not be, you know, I should avoid any subsequent, you know, imprisonment in a field hospital, even though I have, you know, the COVID insurance as well. But, you know, just more peace of mind. Pay for peace of mind. That's what they say. I had to return to take care of some urgent business. Yeah, okay. No. Back and forth on the vaccine. The video cam does a great. My camera? Yeah, I think. So I don't record in 4K because of the fact that it's got the high definition 4K sensor. The actual image quality for 1080p video actually comes out extremely good because it's on a 4K sensor. That's why I do it that way. If I go to 4K recording, I can only do what they call 25 frames per second, I think it is. So that does bring the quality of the video down. Well, it's actually not it's what they call it's the rendering speed. See, I've got it set for 1080p at 50k, so it records at 50k kilobits per second. onto the card. That's the recording speed. I think when we did the comparison, that's the recording speed at 4K on that is only, well, it's 50K again, but it's 4K video. So, and I think the Pocket 2 does 100K or something like that. That's it. Preferably when we actually do side-by-side video shots, and then I put it up on screen and sort of see how it compares. The old Sang Simon Shivers Regal bottle. And Oggie's playing Conan. What are you doing, Oggie? Playing Conan? Without me? Is there scams going on in the hospitals and so on? Not that nothing that's really become obvious. I haven't, locally, I said we're out of the centre of the city. I don't know what's going on the mainstream city, but out here, like people sort of ask, do I get treated as a second-class citizen? People ask these questions all the time. I sense, in some places there is a distancing, but then again, that distancing could be just the fact that they're shy and not confident to speak to a Farang, as opposed to a confidence level of, are you a COVID carrier? This is generally what I think, but again, sort of, I have that sort of face that I think people seem to tend to trust. I don't know. Maybe it's just having a profile on the internet. Maybe a lot of Thais know who I am because they've seen my face somewhere or something. I don't know. I've only got 7,500 people, actually, well, nearly 8,000 subscribers. But I can't sort of say that we get 8,000 people viewing a video every day. But yeah, so apart from that xenophobia, I think more of it's the fact that they just people. Like Chanya, she's here on the video. Oh, thanks, Dallo. You hear her on the video. She's shy and not confident to talk in English, and that's what I tend to find when I go places. Is they're either they want to talk in English, or they're shy. It's really hard to capture that on camera. And it's one of the things that you'll get used to over here if you're living here, is this, it's either shyness or they want to practice. And there's no in between. And so having a few words of Thai breaks the ice. It's amazing how many people will really try to speak English to you, even though I say "What the crap," the usual pleasantries you do when you're at the shops, and "Rakatarai," how much is this, and all that sort of stuff. They can hear me talking Thai, but what they will do, then they'll turn around and say, things in English, and to me, it's sort of it catches you off guard because it's not quite proper English, and then you're trying to work out what they've said, and then you realise they've said something to you in English, not Thai. It is quite funny. Something you will get used to when you're over here. Are there many expats? I think I saw. People use this area, Saiha, as a push bike or cycling area because there's no traffic and the roads are all concrete and fairly flat. So you get a lot of people cycling up and down the roads here. Mind you, again, sort of, these roads across the Klong here. You'll see this when I do the video. They're not really set up for big doubles and trucks, but there's one building just down the road here from us that it's a commercial. He's got half a dozen, 12-wheelers in his yard there, and God, bringing those things in and out every day or across these streets here, the guy's fucking crazy. But yeah, trying to get those things turned around. you'll have to see the video next week, if I get the video done next week, just some of the logistics that they must have to deal with, because going over these clongs here on these bridges, and they're turning into they're doing right-hand turns, and there's no leeway on the concrete, right? You've got concrete gutters that are too high to jump over, and alternatively you've got drop-offs going into rice fields. It's dropping a 12-wheeler down here, you'd be crazy, but they do. Brian Jackson, I hope you liked the... Unfortunately, Brian, I think you've been sending me things that are from private Facebook groups there, Brian, and I don't get to read them because I've got enough groups on Facebook, and private groups, I can't read them. So again, not many people realise the fact that if the group is not public, then if you post a link in a messenger, it just doesn't come through. It just says you've got to join the group, and quite frankly, I do not need any more tire kicking groups from around the world. Andy Stubbs, were you out walking along the beach today? Oh, okay. I think Dallo is catching up on his lost sleep. All the vaccines that are being used in the US have the status of emergency use authorization, so there are little recourse if there are any severe. But what they're doing here in Thailand, of course, they are realising the fact that they want the vaccine rolled out, so they've had to step up and do this insurance sort of bullshit. Anyway, Jenny Williams, good morning. How are you? Thinking seriously now of retirement to Thailand. Need to feel some of that lovely warm weather. I think. Yeah. Well, where are you coming from, Jenny? So, you want to talk about it, just jump on our Discord channel and sort of come and have a chat, and we can talk off air if you want to talk off air about the pros and cons of Thailand. Like again, David, from Germany, he's we've been talking about his move to Thailand for quite some time. Same with Psycho. Psycho, I think he groks the whole idea of his living in Thailand. David never has really grasp the full living here and what it means, and that's something that you really, we're trying to make entertaining videos on YouTube, and again we do talk off air on Discord where it doesn't get monitored about some of the little nuances that it's not, Thailand in video on YouTube can be a lot of rose-coloured glasses sort of stuff. That's something I just realised we've just gone to past the 2 hour mark. Can be a little bit that way inclined. We tend to look at the videos as being a snapshot of our life, and our life is carefree and relatively trouble-free. But I've been living here for 5 years, and as Robert knows, there's just some things that'll never change here in Thailand, and you just got to take the good with the bad. But if you're coming from another country and you're plugging into Thailand, the first thing you tend to see is all the things that annoy you, if you know what I mean, like the traffic, right? The traffic still annoys me. It's probably the only thing that does annoy me, because seriously, you get your license from a cornflakes packet, but unfortunately they don't eat cornflakes, so they got their license from a bag of rice, if you know what I mean, which is probably worse than a bag of cornflakes, because at least cornflakes has processing. They get their license from a bag of rice. And that's what you're going to deal with here in Thailand, is this really, I'm in front of you, I've got the right of way. I was pulling out, an example, I was pulling out of the hardware do home yesterday. Okay, they've got a fairly wide driveway, so I'm within my, like this, it's an inbound and outbound driveway, which is a good 3.5 cars wide. Okay, so I pull out the driveway to get onto the main road. So I'm halfway. I'm in my definite half of the driveway. This arsehat pulls up on my left-hand side, tries to get into the mainstream traffic inside me, turning into the lane. I had a clear turn into the lane, But this dickhead on the left-hand side, no, he didn't want that lane. He wanted to go 2 lanes across into the mainstream traffic, right? So prevented me from going into the clear lane that had no traffic in it. Not only that, 100 yards down the road, that dickhead then pulled into that sort of side lane to turn left again. That's the sort of bullshit you have to deal with on the roads. The total ignorance of traffic conditions, traffic roads, traffic rules, traffic anything. It can get really frustrating. And you get that all the time, the total ignorance and care that anybody in a sensible sort of road environment would exercise. It's just, it can drive. After 5 years, just one thing, I tolerate driving, but yeah, it's the only thing that really pisses me off here. As you can see, just that little incident, you get that every day. Total idiocy, idiot moves of Thai drivers, and they're in the outside lane, and they'll cut across 3 lanes of traffic, right, to go down that side street. They've been in that lane for 500 yards, yet they will leave it to the last 50 metres to turn left into that thing across 3 lanes of road. Happens all the time. You wonder why the roads are so full of deaths and everything else on motorcycles. Because idiots like that do that all the time. They've got no idea, right? That's where I need to go. I'm going to do it now. That's it. I've just overtaken half a dozen cars to get in front of everybody, but now I need to turn left into that side street, right? Because that saved me like 3 seconds travel in that last kilometre of road. I saved 3 seconds is more important than sort of the care and regard for anybody else on the road, if you know what I mean. Just, they've got to save that 3 seconds. They've got to get in front of 3 more cars, because being first is about everything in Thailand. Being first. First of what? First into your death trap? First into your grave? First into... Oh my God. Crazy arseholes they are. Anyway, enough of the Thailand drive. But yeah, so getting back to David's story. So when Psycho gets it, David didn't get it. And we've been talking for the same length of time pretty much about Thailand. David's having to sort of get used to like he's trying to get a condo in Bangkok, and he's already been snubbed by a number of people that just, sorry, you're a foreigner. You've got COVID. You're a foreigner. Your money's not as good as a Thai person, and a Thai person's not going to rent that condo anyway. He's been able to deal with that, and dealing with people like he called 3BB. Sorry, can't do 3BB for whatever reason. Then he gets the good side. These guys come in and 2 people to do the internet service for True, and they seemed all chatty and very happy. There's this process that you'll have to gravitate to when you're coming to live in Thailand. Things are going to be different, and you have to look at all the. You'll have to look at all. That's not me farting, by the way. That's just a drill down. You'd have to look at the good and be thankful for all the nice stuff. Although you don't see much of the smiling faces.
People were probably impressed.
Hey? Yeah, fair enough. But getting the whole idea that you move here, there's going to be lots of little things you're just going to absolutely love, but will they dilute the things that annoy you? And that's the biggest transitional process you're going to have to deal with here. There is so many things that are really quite lovely about living in Thailand. If you like warm weather, plus if you like smiley, happy faces, you like people. I know if you walk into the supermarket or into a mall in Australia, how many shop assistants will come across genuinely grateful or happy to greet you and help you out with your needs in a mall? Look, quite frankly, last 10 years in Australia, probably 1 out of 100 shop assistants would actually greet you and come and offer assistance. Everywhere you go into a mall here in Thailand, I can't remember I can't remember exactly what they say. Something day. They sort of, can I help you, sort of thing. That's what it translates to. I can't remember actually the words. Can I help you? You know, everywhere you go, it's always, can I help you? Can I help you? And that is something that you just don't get in the West. And it's those sort of things there that I really appreciate with the Thai people. You get it everywhere you go here. That people are generally seem to be generally happy to greet you and offer some sort of level of service to you. And that sort of stuff in my bucket of good versus bad dilutes the traffic situation 100 times over. And that's really what you've got to understand about living in Thailand. If you're going to be a stickler for the fact that, as David says, they don't take my Bitcoin credit card. Well, deal with it. You know, I don't think that's probably a good example, but you know, things that he was used to in Dubai and things he was used to in Germany just don't happen here because of in Germany the regulated hypocrisy of day-to-day business and things like that. Something you are conditioned to from birth. You like that level of organisation, you know, that OCD-ness of Germany, or the lack of alcohol in Dubai, or whatever it is, you know. Those sort of things you get conditioned to live with, and you come to Thailand where you've got this level of freedom that can't be compared with anywhere else I've been in the world, you know. Mind you, I haven't been all over the world. I've only been to half a dozen countries, but you know, it's just something that, in my book, it's something that floats my boat. Hot weather, cheerful people, and this perception of pure freedom to just do your thing without being subjected to criticism or, you know, keeping up with the Joneses, or that car is just not good enough to be here, or that pair of shoes is just not good enough to wear into our establishment, or that tie is just the wrong shade of pinky russet to come into my hotel. You know, we just don't get that shit over here, you know, whereas people expect it, you know, and we'll deal with it. That's life here in Thailand. Anyway, I should do something about closing the stream. We're going over time. Fully understand the way English is spoken in Chanya. Yep, okay. A friend from Portugal speaks exactly the same. I know there's a lot of people that like to kick the tires on that one, Jenny. That's just a done deal. You just get used to it. You don't have a YouTube channel without everybody being an expert on the subject of Thailand. Yet 90% of them never even been here. Regarding a relationship with Chanya, which culture treats your relationship with the spouse more respectful? Thailand culture? Well, I really can't compare it because he's only spent 15 weeks in Australia, and for that whole 15 weeks she spent in Australia, she felt really ostracised. She just really had, but mind you, that was 2009, 2011, those two trips he did. I think relationship-wise, well, my people, only a select people in Australia actually knew our relationship status, and they didn't have a problem with it. But as I said, you know, there was a certain subculture in Australia which I have to deal with. You know, when you're in an office with 300 people, you know, I say at least 25% of that office culture would consider our relationship distasteful. You know, that's the sort of people they are in Australia, and so you just don't let them know about it. Don't get it here. It's, you know, just I can't compare it to North America, but I would imagine North America would be a higher percentage of people. We have our bogons in Australia. You have your rednecks in America. I think the amount of bogons to rednecks, I think you got more rednecks in America than you got bogons in Australia. And if you don't want a bogon, the same as an Australian redneck. No, let's not go there. Funny, scary listening about the time travel. Yeah, it is. You have to have a certain level of, backbone. If you actually drive on the right side of the road, the left-hand side of the road like we do, which is the correct side of the road, you won't have a problem. It's all natural to you. If you're coming from America, your subconscious safety net is reversed. So it takes a lot of getting used to driving on this side of the road, and that's not going to change. There's no way to practice it. Spend a lot of time sitting in the passenger seat in taxis, but on the driver's side, just to get used to the oncoming traffic sort of perceptions. That's something you need to train yourself on. You guys drive on the wrong side of the road, just like I say. Not my problem. People drive like Buzzy, people drive that area, not just Thailand. Well, I just think there's more people in Thailand drive like that than Australia has a certain level of, I suppose, prevalence of, intelligence to a higher degree than what I would say in Thailand, at least anyway. Thai drivers are great playing on online car games. On the actual roads, they're not so good. I actually haven't seen any sort of what they call, what's that driving game? Was it Need for Speed? I haven't seen any Thais doing Need for Speed. I've seen a couple of guys in those, at the game shows, the good shows where they set up and they've got the little console gaming driving sort of set up. And I'm going, God, I don't even know the game and I can drive better than that. Sounds like a huge woodpecker trying to get in your house. Exactly. This is a game. This will be on for the next couple of weeks. Bit of this and bit of that. One of the things that takes a bit of patience is the amount of paperwork and don't get me started on that. Mind you, I said this is the thing. Like I went out. This is last week. You got there. That's the TM20. That's the TM28. That there. Didn't want it. Sometimes you can get over. Best thing to do, be prepared for the paperwork trail, and invariably, unless of course you're the head office of something. Oh, banking! I don't get started on banking paperwork. No, did I tell you? I think I did a video. Chanya wanted a 6-month bank statement. I said, well, let's get a 12 months bank statement for the bank. Right, so they had all the transactions for 12 months. 20 minutes. Right, 10 minutes in the queue at the bank, and an additional 20 minutes she was behind the counter, or in front of the counter, just to get a bank statement. And I think I probably saw about a dozen pieces of paper go across the window that she had to sign just to get a bank statement out of a bank, which I could quite easily go through and I can bring it up and do a month by month online. But again, she's got the same bank account as me. When I got my bank account, right, I asked for online access, web access, which is a separate situation. She doesn't have web access to her bank account. She's only got application access on her phone, and she can only request statements through a button on my phone, whereas I can go to get the idea. It's just crazy shit, but of course that had to be printed out by the bank, right, and then sanctioned by the bank, so this is like it gets a little stamp of approval, the fact that it's a genuine document. Paperwork, but yeah, sometimes it surprises you. Like I had all the paperwork apart from the TM30, which is Chanya's responsibility. I don't want to get involved in the TM30 because it's got nothing to do with me. That's an ownership thing. But yeah, so she had to do all that was the paperwork she had to do there, which was only 2 sheets. It's only 2 sheets of paperwork plus the photocopies. But I had to sign the photocopies of my passport, which she goes on record for her thing. But yeah, are you getting multiple chandeliers? No, look, as I said before, Dalo, I don't want any chandeliers. I just want to keep her happy. But you know, I think one will be enough. And that's where we go. Anyway, yes, Andy's trying to give me a hurry up to getting out of here. I want to get out of here too because I think Oggy needs support in the game, and we are playing the game together. So I'm going to get out of here at 20 minutes past the hour. How does Thailand police courts deal with intoxicated drivers? Is it a driver a problem? Look, intoxication is a problem, and I think 30% of the driving fatalities are going to be alcohol related. But it's not like Australia, which is the comparison, where you could be pulled up for failing to indicate, you know, your intention to change a lane. That is an offence. That is an offence here in Thailand as well under the Driving Act, but you never see it being happening. You know, never see that happen. But in Australia, any offence, right? And right now, I even thinking of driving. I don't know. There's so many bullshit offences you can do in Australia. That's it. They pull you over. The first thing they do when you pull you over, they'll pull out the RBT. Blow into this. That's it. And of course, I think first offence, if you blow .05 as a long-time driver, $1,000 fine and 6 points off your licence, about 12 points. Those points take 3 years to renew. Second offence, DUI, that's an instant loss of licence, and 3 or 4. I don't know what the price is. Here in Australia, here in Thailand, I think the fine is 3,000 baht for DUI, and that's it, 3,000 baht. Right, they won't let you drive home, but you know tomorrow you could be out there and get a skinful and do it again. It's just rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. As long as you got the money, then you can pay the fine, from what I understand. But that's part of the way here it is in Thailand. And you don't get pull over driving. They were doing what they call roadside, testing, but they stopped doing that 6 months ago. They've only just reintroduced it. It's on again, off again, and this is. I haven't been breath tested in Thailand here since I've been here, and I'm the one who does all the driving everywhere. Everywhere we go, I'm always driving. I've not had a breath test here in Thailand in 5 years. Can't say that about Australia, and we travel about the same amount of distance. So that gives you an example. Anyway. I think I've answered all the questions. If I've forgotten, just hit me up next week or send me a message, whatever. Usual shit. Anyway, I'm out of here. I want to get the closing screen, and we'll catch up with you next week, guys. Peace out and stay safe.